Most business owners are making the exact same mistake when it comes to landing high ticket clients, and it's costing them tens of thousands of dollars every single month. If you've already got an offer and you want more clients and you want to sell at premium prices without having to chase people, discounting your products or feeling pushy, then what I'm about to share with you is exactly what you need. I'm going to share with you the same step-by-step sales framework that I've used to land clients at 5K, 10K, even up to 25K, and I've generated over $40 million in total sales with this script. I've taught this to hundreds of clients all over the world, and they've accumulatively reported 130 million in sales. Now, what's cool about this is I can guarantee you've never heard some of this stuff before. Why? Because I created this. If you see anyone else teaching this, it's because they either learned it from me or they're copying me, because I developed this process when I was struggling with doing sales in the traditional way that felt unauthentic, felt pushy, felt salesy, felt out of alignment with the way that I want to generate clients. And I just knew there must be a better way. And after trial and error, years and years of just trying, testing, tweaking, I came up with the perfect two-step framework that works every time. And what's interesting is this two-step framework laughs in the face of traditional sales and what you've learned from other sales trainers. And I'm going to guarantee you a few things. The way that I'm going to teach you to land high-ticket clients will be more enjoyable for you. It will be more enjoyable for your prospects, and you will guaranteed to be closing at a higher rate if you do exactly what I tell you to do. This is how we do it. We start with the first script called the push script, and then the second script is the pull script. If you want to follow along, I've put a link to both of these in the description box. Just go ahead and tell me where to send it. They're my free gift to you, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So go ahead and grab those right now, and you can follow along as we go through it. So starting with the push script, this is the first conversation you're having with a prospect. Let's set the scene. Somebody's been watching your content online, they opted in for your sales funnel, they watched maybe a webinar or a VSL, or they messaged you on Instagram, and one way or another, they've booked onto your calendar, and here you are on the phone together. There's 10 steps, 10 things you need to do on that conversation to turn someone from a cold prospect to a red hot, ready to buy high ticket client. We're going to quickly touch on all of these. We're going to go through all 10, but I first need to give you the overarching thing we're trying to achieve with the push script. It's called the push because we're actually trying to push them away a little bit. We want to create the feeling of them wanting our program, all the while we're actually pushing them away, we're keeping them at bay, and that's building more and more desire. So we want to get to the end of the conversation, and the ultimate game plan is that the prospect wants to join and they're not allowed to. That's where we're trying to get them to. And then we pick that back up when we get to the pull script. It'll all start to make sense as we go through this. So let's go through the 10 steps, and let's start with step number 1. First step is we intro the call. We make sure that we retain the frame, that we're in control of the call. We ask them a couple of questions to have a quick little bit of small talk, and we move straight on to step number 2. This shows that we are the one leading the conversation. They can relax knowing that we're taking charge. Step 2 is something I created. No one else does this, and it's so powerful, and you should absolutely start doing this on your sales processes from now on. It's called the reverse frame. And the reverse frame is where we make it clear there's nothing to buy today. You actually say that to the prospect and you mean it. They're not allowed to buy. Now, you might be listening to this going, John, you're crazy. What if someone really does want to buy at the end of the call and you don't let them? You're going to let someone walk away? If you're thinking that right now, my friend, you have just misunderstood the bigger picture of what we're trying to achieve here. If you are going for a one call close on every conversation, let's just imagine that you convert 20% of your calls, meaning you speak to 10 people and there's 2 that you could just about get round to and they would close. Okay, 20% conversion. What I'm suggesting you do by pushing away people on that first call, everyone, the people that want it, the people that don't, the people that might want it, who know, every single person you speak to, you're pushing them away. You will build overall more buyer demand and close more of the 10 on the second call. So now imagine that you have that weird feeling that you are pushing someone away that kind of wants it right now. That same person is going to join on the second call. If they want it on the first one, then they truly wanted it, they would still join on the second call, but you'll get more people saying yes on the second call than would have done on the first. So overall, you'll find you've got a 40% close rate instead of 20%. You've doubled your business by doing this. And those are the results that I see and that my clients see. So we do the reverse frame. We make it clear there's nothing to be sold today, so they can relax, leave their credit card in their pocket. Let's just connect and get to know each other. That brings their guard right down. And then they're actually far more likely to be honest with you, give you truthful answers to the questions that you're asking, and you have a better conversation. The third step is the detective. Now, this is not unique to me. This is a part of sales. I mean, we've been doing this since the beginning of time, right? Good sales is asking more questions and doing more listening than talking. And this is that part. You're being a detective, you're looking for clues, you're asking questions, and you're painting a picture of that prospect and where they're at and the problem they've got and the solution that they need. Then when we feel we've got enough information, we move to pain amplification. And this is where we poke the pain a little bit, not to be mean, but because most people buy from a place of pain instead of pleasure, right? We buy for both of those reasons, but more people buy from a place of pain, meaning I'm in a horrible spot right now and I don't want to feel like this anymore. Let me buy your program. As opposed to, things are feeling pretty good and I just want that outcome. That would be nice. They might buy, but they buy more from pain. So we want to amplify that feeling. Then in step 5, we create doubt. We want to navigate the conversation in a way that's creating doubt in their mind that they could do this by themselves or that they could do this with your competition. That you've got such a unique framework for the way you coach clients or the service or product that you have that it's really their highest chance of success is with you. And then we move to step 6, which is wrap it up. And this is where we do something called displayed understanding. We display to the prospect that we get them, understand them, and we have the solution for them. If you've ever booked a coffee date with a friend and you sit down and you can just tell that everything you say about a problem you've currently got in your relationship or a problem at work or a problem in the business, they're just not getting it. It's not landing. They're not understanding. You feel more frustrated than comforted. Whereas as soon as you are speaking to a friend and they're just getting it, they are understanding your situation, they're resonating with you and they're comforting you, you naturally start to feel better. There's value in just being understood. And so in the wrap it up section, we are doing a summary of everything we've heard so far, everything we've understood about what they've said and how they're feeling and what they're looking for. And we check that we've understood correctly. And as long as we hear a yes on the other end of that bit of communication, then we are one step closer to having that person as a client. Because if they can just feel truly understood, they're going to feel quite connected to you and they're not going to want to leave without buying something. And then we move to step number 7. This is the roadmap. Now, this is where we describe to them the steps they need to take in order to get the result that they're looking for. And we're describing the results that you and your program would help them to achieve. Now, we're not describing your product exactly right now, okay? We're describing the journey they're going to go on. So if your offer, if your product, if your service, if your program is a vehicle, then we're not describing the vehicle right now. We're not saying, hey, it's a 6-month coaching program with 4 one-to-ones and these resources and these templates and whatever the case may be. We're not describing the vehicle. We're describing the journey they're going to go on. First thing we need to do is achieve this. Second thing we need to do is achieve this. Third thing is achieve this. How does that sound to you? They're going to say, yes, that sounds great. You've described the roadmap that they need. And the obvious next step where they're going to ask to go next in the conversation is, well, what does it look like to work with you? What is your how much is your program? And how could I get help from you? And this is where we move to step 8. It's my favorite part. It couples perfectly with the reverse frame. And I don't see anyone else doing this. And it blows my mind that more people haven't cottoned on that this works better than trying to force your product down someone's throat. I double down on the fact that I said in the beginning that they can't buy anything, and I commit to that. It's called the push pitch. And when they ask about my product, I remind them of step 2. I say, hey, absolutely, I would love to share with you my program, how it works, what's included. I just want to remind you that we won't be making a decision on that today. I like to go away and have a think about that, make sure that I truly can help you. I've got a couple of calls coming up later this week. I just want to make sure that I'm working with the right people. So I'm enjoying this conversation so far. I'm happy to share with you all the ins and outs of my program. Just want to make that clear so that we're on the same page. Sound good? They say yes. We double down again. We say, so again, just to be clear, I'll share with you everything, what's included, how it works, how much it is. But even if you love the sound of it and you want to join today, respectfully, we won't do that today. We'll both go away and have a think about it and speak again later in the week. Sound good? They say sound good. Now, what that has just done in the prospect's mind is unbelievable. You have just cemented yourself as someone who's incredibly confident, and that breeds confidence in you and your product. They're going to feel so much better about you than someone who's desperate to close them on their program. It really makes it sound like you don't need them as a client, right? Like if whether they join you or not, it makes no difference to you. You're not even wanting the sale. And so you've got this confidence and this air about you that like they're just naturally gravitating towards you. And you're activating this feeling of wanting what you can't have. So now they're about to hear a description of your product, and with everything you say, rather than them thinking, "Oh, I'm being sold to, and I'm staying cautious here," the opposite's happening. You've told them they can't join, and so now every time you tell them about the program, they're just wanting it more and more and more. It's sounding better and better and better. And so once they agree that they can't buy it today, then you say, "Awesome. Well, listen, let me share with you everything that's included." And you sell the pants off this thing. You get real passionate. You tell them why this is such an important project to you, and like this program is your life's work, and exactly what it's like to be a client, and how it works, and the process you take them through, and the wins that your clients get. And you're just absolutely selling your heart out, and they're just getting more and more caught up in it. And then we move to step 9, which is objection handling. We now have a moment to handle all of their objections just as if we had invited them in, even though we haven't. We say, "Hey, how does that sound to you? Do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns?" And they start asking all the questions they would have done if they were actually invited in. And so you're pre-handling all the objections before you even get to the call where you're actually going to invite them in and take their payment. But you're doing it in an environment where they're more likely to be honest with you, which is really, really powerful. And then finally, we get the tie downs. And this is step 10. And the tie downs is where we get 3 things. A tie down for their desire to do this, a tie down for the payment plan they want, and a tie down for the start date. When are they actually going to start the program? And if you're new to the term tie down, just think loading up the back of a truck. You've done all the heavy lifting, all the hard work, and you've loaded up the back of the truck. And then you might, if you don't tie it down, you might just drive off and it all come crashing out the back. And that's what you don't want. You don't want to have this conversation go so well, but you missed a few things. You didn't tie it all down. So then you have this conversation and new things come to the surface and unexpected things come up. And so by getting tie downs on the fact that they want this and they verbally confirm that, and a tie down on what payment plan they would even want, and a tie down on when they could start, you have the perfect setup to say, "Hey, let's talk again on Thursday. How are you set for 4 p.m.? They say that sounds great. And you prepared to speak to them again on Thursday. It's magical what happens between call number 1 and call number 2. Picture the scenario. Instead of getting off the phone, having a really difficult conversation with someone who really wants their money and really wants to sign them up and they're feeling pressured, now they get off the phone, speak to their spouse and say they just had a conversation with this internet person and they're not sure, maybe they should do this program, maybe they shouldn't. Now their spouse is saying, "That'd be stupid, don't do that, don't waste your money with that internet freak," right? But now we're doing something completely different. Now they're getting off the phone saying, "Hey, honey, I just had a conversation with this person online. Sounds freaking awesome, actually." "Oh, right, how much is it?" "Well, it's this much, but I'm not even allowed in yet." "Well, you're not allowed in? Why?" Like now they're talking to their spouse in a way that's selling the opportunity to their spouse, and the spouse isn't objecting to it because there's not even anything to object to yet. They've not been invited in. So the feeling just gets better and better and better, leading to the second call where we're going to invite them in. This is where the magic happens. This is how we get these 40% conversion rates. We double the sales in our business. It's because of this setup, this 1-2 punch. So then we move to the second call, and it's the pull script. And now this is where we do check in with them again, Thursday at 4 p.m. And there's 7 steps on this one. It's a shorter call. In fact, sometimes this call can just be 10 minutes. It's awesome when that happens. You jump on the phone, you check in with the prospect, they're still feeling good, you offer them a place, they give you their credit card information, and your 10K payment drops into your bank account. Like that feels epic. It doesn't happen every time. Sometimes it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but it can sometimes be very quick. So let's go through these 7 steps. Step number 1, the check-in. It's really important that when you first get on the phone again, that you just check in with them, that they're still feeling the same as they did when we finished the first conversation. So I'd say, "Hey, James, great to speak to you again. How are you feeling since the last time we spoke?" And we're just waiting to hear confirmation that still feeling excited, they're feeling good, and you're listening out for any clues that they might not be feeling the same or getting some cold feet. If all is good, we progress forward to the recap. And the recap's really powerful because we want to recap the fact that they want the program. We want to remind them that they said they wanted it. And we know that because we've got the tie down, and we want them to confirm that they remember saying that they wanted it, right? So what we do is we get a recap, but we sandwich that between two other things. So we say, do you mind if I do a quick recap on the conversation we had previously? I think that'll be helpful for me and also for you. They'll say yes. You'll say, great. Well, we spoke about the fact that you're feeling like this, and you got this problem, and it's been a problem for 5 years, and there's this, and there's this, and there's this. We ended up speaking about my momentum coaching program, and we spoke about what's included and how much it is, and you said you'd love to join, and so that's super cool. And then the third thing is what you're after, which was, ideally you want this outcome with this result in this time frame. And does that sound about right? And they'll 9 times out of 10 say, yep, that sounds about right. And they're agreeing to all three, which means at the same time, by association, they are agreeing that they want the program. Now that's really important for later in the script. Then we move to step 3, which is qualification. Now, I highly suggest you keep this piece in. Some people avoid this, but it's really powerful to just have a couple of questions that further qualify the prospect. It doesn't make it feel like a done deal, that they're just allowed to join the program. You make it clear that your standards are pretty high for who comes in to work with you. And there's a couple of things you wanted to clarify to make sure they definitely are the right type of person before you offer them a spot. So it's a really good way of having them sell themselves to you. It's actually very, very powerful. If that all sounds good, we move to step 4, which is called good news and bad news. And this is where we actually invite them into the program. And it's a bit of a light-hearted way of doing so, but it's very, very powerful because we're going to say to them that the good news is they're allowed a spot and they're invited into your program. And the bad news is a joke, that they're stuck with you for the next 6 months, if that's how long your program is. Now, what this is doing is a really clever psychological trick, because at the moment where you invite them in and you're now about to ask them for a payment, that's when they're going to feel a bit giddy. They're going to get the butterflies in their stomach. They're going to feel a bit nervous. And so by making that moment a bit lighthearted with a joke, you're actually keeping their guard low, helping them to feel more comfortable, and they're actually more likely to move forward with the decision. So you ask them, which one do you want first? I've got some good news and bad news. Which one first? It doesn't matter which one they ask for. If they say bad news first, you say, well, the bad news is, James, you're going to be stuck with me for the next 6 months, my friend, because the good news is I'd love to have you in the program. Really enjoyed our call, and I think I can really help you. Can you pause? James will say something like, oh, very cool, man. That sounds great. I'm really excited. Then you move to step 5, which is super duper powerful. It's called the assumed close. They've already told you that they want this. You already spoke about it in the first call. You got the tie down. Now, this is so important. You don't ask them if they want to join the program. You assume they're already in. So you say, so that's the good news and bad news. So James, when you're ready, I've got the order form pulled up on my screen here. I've got your membership area ready to go. So when you're ready, just give me the long card number on the front of the card you'd like to use, and we'll get you all signed up and squared away. And then you shut up. You don't say a single peep. You just let James think, because this is the moment where the butterflies come and feels nervous. And sometimes you hear those magical words, yeah, sounds good. And they reach for their card and they read you some numbers. It's such a good feeling. I still remember the first time a client said yes to me on the phone and just gave me the digits, and I ran their card for 10 grand. It was like, wow, this is amazing. And now this happens every single day. We're signing up these new clients. Now that happens sometimes. Other times they feel a bit nervous, and then the objections come out, and that's fine. You may have to handle some of the same objections that you did on the previous call, but this is normal. This is okay. People are just feeling a bit nervous, and you help them. You coach them through their fear all the way to making the right decision for them. And the final step is step 7. You validate the sale. Okay? It's really important when someone makes a buying decision with you and they become a client, that you don't then just get off the phone as quickly as you can, but you make them feel safe, make them feel comfortable, and tell them what's going to happen next, right? Like tell them that they're going to expect this email and this message, and this is what's about to happen. No matter what product you sell, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what level of experience you have with sales right now, I guarantee if you download these frameworks, study them, test them, use them, I believe you will dramatically increase your closing percentage and you will enjoy the process. Hope this has been helpful. If you want more information like this, check out this video right here. I've got a 3-part series breaking down some of the biggest dramatic changes in our industry that you must be aware of. So check those out. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in a future one.